The German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, has called for a fundamental reassessment of the German benefits system. The Chancellor argued for a fundamental reassessment of the benefits system as spending continues to soar past last year's record of 47 billion euros. According to the Chancellor, the German welfare state is no longer financially sustainable. In a state-level party conference meeting, Friedrich Merz said, "The welfare state as we have it today can no longer be financed with what we can economically afford." Once the export champion of Europe, Germany's economy has slowed dramatically since 2017, but spending on social welfare has exploded and is set to increase further as Germany's population ages and unemployment rises. The German state embraced social democracy after World War II due to the threat communism posed. The state directly controlled many sectors of the economy, especially the sectors that provided social services to the people, such as health and education. The state also took direct control of the large companies that employed large numbers of people, such as mining and steel. But by the 1980s, the social democratic system had incurred large debts and struggled with economic development. By the 1990s, European politics took a new direction, as politicians such as Gerhard Schroeder embraced neoliberalism and campaigned against social democracy. But despite this, the German state's welfare spending has continued to increase due to its aging population. In 2009, Germany put in place a debt brake, a constitutional rule that restricts how much new debt the federal and state governments can take on each year. This has been a major impediment to how much the government can borrow to fund its spending plans. Germany already faces political and demographic crises, and its economic model, for long its strength, has now also reached crisis point. The French finance minister has admitted that despite being the world's 7th largest economy, the country will need an IMF bailout. The revelation comes as successive governments have struggled to gain approval for massive budget cuts, with the second prime minister in a year calling for a confidence vote. Despite a GDP of 2.9 trillion euros, France's mountainous debt now exceeds 3.2 trillion euros. France has run budget deficits since the 1970s, as public sector spending is one of the highest in the world. France's declining demographics has also meant today's workers fund current retirees. With fewer workers per retiree, pension spending has ballooned. Attempts at pension reforms through retirement aid increases sparked massive protests. Every new crisis, from the 2008 financial crisis, COVID-19, and the energy crisis, has piled on more debt. France's high debt is not a sudden problem, but the result of decades of overspending, demographic pressures, and political resistance to reform. With France's global empire on life support, these domestic issues mean France's place in the world is also now in question. America's largest energy multinational, ExxonMobil, has held secret talks with Russian energy companies in order to kickstart new projects in Russia. Resuming business in Russia is a dramatic rapprochement after Exxon's messy breakup with Moscow, when Russian forces invaded Ukraine in 2022. The Wall Street Journal revealed senior ExxonMobil executives have discussed returning to Russia if the two governments gave the green light as part of a Ukraine peace process. Exxon was involved in some key projects, including the huge Sakhalin project. These hard-to-reach areas needed new technology that Russia didn't have, so Moscow turned to foreign companies. But after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, foreign companies left the country after the West placed sanctions on Russia and tried to isolate it. Russia has managed to keep its energy sector running, but it needs Western investment and technology to bring online hard-to-reach deposits in Siberia and other more complex resources. One of the areas Russia-US are in talks in is for partnerships in the Arctic region and in Russia's Siberia region that hasn't seen much activity. The US is looking to deepen its relations with Russia in order to counter China. This is why Trump has done a full U-turn on the Ukraine war and offered the areas Russia has conquered on a plate for the US. This is part of diluting Sino-Russian relations. Exxon's return to Russia comes as the US doubles down on India's energy relationship with Russia. India has seen the imposition of increased tariffs for buying Russian energy. This all takes place as US corporations are looking to invest and partner with Russia.